Where the emergency door is on the bus, we welded custom stairs.
The bus was an idea that we kind of came up with while we were on tour with our band. We wanted to create like the ultimate tour vehicle.
And the bed does raise to about the ceiling.
It looks kind of hard to detangle right now, but it almost feels like a fever dream of how this was all put together. Hi, I'm Isaac, and this is Julene, and this is our bus, the Woolly Mammoth, aka DIY Skoolie. Come on in. So this is the living area. We tried to make it big enough for 10 people to sit. There are seat belts that are actually in the seats for up to 10 people. This bed comes together and forms one gigantic bed that is, big enough for me to starfish out on. The seats that we have here were custom upholstered. That's one of the only things that we didn't do ourselves because we wanted something that was very durable and made perfectly for that space. We have different kinds of window coverings. There's these shade ones that roll up here on this bar, and then we have more winter shades that snap into place and also act as more of a privacy screen. There are cup holders. A toddler destroyed all of our original cup holders, so we got these big beefy metal ones. Underneath we have storage for our food. We have different utilities. There's tools, firewood for the tiny wood stove, and honestly I don't know what's in a lot of these other ones because there's just a lot of storage space up here. A lot of things run off of battery power, including these fans that drift around and they kind of sit on the edges of the of this like wire rail up high, and then the ceiling is a knotty pine tongue and groove panel ceiling and accented with these cherry trim finishes. The bus was an idea that we kind of came up with while we were on tour with our band. Like, we wanted to create like the ultimate tour vehicle. I saw that somebody had converted their van to run off of vegetable oil, and I thought, oh, that solves the, poor broke musician kind of thing. So let's go ahead and do that. And then that band broke up and things kind of evolved. And the more that we worked on the bus, the more we're like, we should make this for ourselves. And so we created this as more of a cabin for ourselves, more of like an adventure vehicle than a tour vehicle. It's also not a very practical tour vehicle, especially if you're trying to park it in the middle of a city.
And this was definitely a brain project. It was something Isaac, when he has something stuck in his head, he needs them out. And so he had been talking about the bus when we met, and I'm so used to people with big ideas never finishing projects. It's probably one of my bigger pet peeves is that they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like build this old car, and then it sits in their driveway. And so I was like, oh no, here we go. But I was like, as long as it's finished, I don't like, go for it. So
and I took my time, 4 years.
Yeah.
So this is the front of the bus. This is where I do most of the driving. We wanted to keep the bus looking reminiscent of the original school bus, so there isn't a lot of upgrades here. We have a backup camera, that's new. CB radio, the original bus already had that, but we had to get a better one. And we rebuilt the whole CB radio system so that it can actually broadcast a little bit further. We have a security system, which is really just a security camera that can detect motion, so we can also keep an eye on this guy. We have a battery isolator that we use to charge the house batteries from the engine while we're driving down the road. There's this secret compartment that we often forget about up here in the front. A PA system that at the moment unfortunately isn't working, but I'm gonna figure that one out. And it's an automatic. We have 350,000 miles on the bus. Most of those were not put on there by us, but automatic transmission, and it rides pretty smooth. We are pretty underweight for what the bus can handle. I think we can go up to 28,000 pounds, and we're at 20,000 right now. So we have an old manual hurry hot heater that runs off of the engine heat, all the engine coolant. You can turn it on and have it circulate through here, and then we also stash a little cocktail table that we put right behind me, along with some other little security features, because you got to stay safe out there. On the other side over here, we have, kind of my nav station with the radar detector, my little GPS and my cup holder, and then little storage here for all of our tickets for going to national parks or maps, things like that. On the other side, we have this cubby that we use for all of our window coverings, sunscreen, things that we want to grab really quick, shoe covers, or not shoe covers, shoes. And then right behind me, I have a big TV. This is a 12-volt TV. Nothing that we have in the bus actually requires an inverter to run. This was kind of tough to find, but it fits perfectly and it runs great. And then there's a surround sound system. And then we have a propane heater that is a catalytic propane heater. Gets everything in here nice and toasty. This is the only bus that we've built, and it was hard to convince people that it was actually going to happen for the longest time. There was a lot of prep work that went into making sure that all the bus systems were working, and that we had prepared for systems to run smoothly before we put up the walls and would have to tear into them to make modifications. It was 4 years of when we had time or when we had money, and we had to have both. So there were long periods where a lot of things didn't happen, but we eventually found the momentum and the money, and we were able to kind of get it done. There were definitely points when it was a nightmare, and I actually have a picture of myself when I was probably at the lowest and wanted to get out of the whole thing. That was when I was working on the gas lines. Yeah. But it was.
You were like laying on the ground defeat.
I was so defeated. When you get the momentum of like the build, like it becomes all you can think about. All right, so this is our electrical closet. It's kind of a nightmare of wire in here because it's, we've just kind of added to what we've been doing over time. We have our solar charge controller. We have a spot where the panels are coming in from the ceiling. There's a stereo setup in here. We have a Wi-Fi hotspot with an antenna that's used to amplify cell signals so we can get some data out in the middle of nowhere. There are batteries, and we have 2 inverters, one of which is an inverter charger so that we can get shore power. And then 2 12-volt distribution boxes so that we can go out to all of the different features that are all throughout the bus. So it looks kind of hard to detangle right now, but it almost feels like a fever dream of how this was all put together, but everything runs really smoothly, and I know when something breaks where I'm supposed to look. I might be the only person that knows where to look.
Hey, this is the midsection to the back section of the bus, so mostly like kitchen. It's the panel. A lot of times Isaac will be driving. He's like, how many amps are coming in? And so I can check the solar, the tank, so we can check like how much gray water, fresh water, entertainment center, the tank heaters if it's really cold. That helps so our water doesn't freeze over, water tanks. This is our fridge freezer, which is awesome. I like that it's separate, and especially the freezer section. And this is kind of like a secondary counter for like food prep or whatnot. Fruit basket. This is our tiny wood stove. It's more of like a fun secondary heat source, and we love it. Like we use it all the time. We come out here, we'll have a fire with some friends, drink some beers, This is our garbage, recycle, pretty standard. Our on-demand water pump is under here. And this is a refurbished like wood slab. We did it ourselves. It was kind of had some like mold stains and whatnot. So we took it home, planed it in our basement. The other side of the live slab is the backsplash. So we kind of kept that in the design, and a lot of storage. We built all the cabinets. So this is mostly like cleaning products, extra water for the batteries, like distilled water. All the dishes kept up here, usually coffee makers, cups and plates, extra like baking things as needed. This is our spice rack. This was an empty, unused space, and I kind of saw that. I was like, oh, that's big enough for a spice rack. I saw some of these designs. We ended up making that ourselves to fit it custom. Silverware, knives. This is like catch-all drawer. One of the pantry drawers, I generally put a lot of like breakfast, coffee stuff here, and then the other drawer by the fridge is the other kind of pantry section. More pans, storage, and then these are even like little extra storage pans, spatulas, lighters. This is our tiny propane oven, so we can cook a pizza. It's big enough. Extra outlets on the counter with USB plugs, and that's pretty much the kitchen. So a few of the, I guess, adventures that stand out, because we're not full-time at this point. We've played around with that idea, but we want to like our bus for a long time. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is if we just use it here and there, we might like it longer and less wear and tear on the bus as well. But our maiden voyage, we went out to the Washington coast, and that was like where we learned a lot about our build, because so many things broke, or the drawers flew open, the bench seats flew off, like the dog and I were flying off. I don't think we had seatbelts yet.
Yeah.
The bed broke. We had to stop alongside the road.
That was a major thing.
Yeah, it wasn't tied down yet, so it was galloping. We went over some bumps on the wonderfully constructed Washington freeways, and it just broke. So we had to like take it apart with a saw. So that stood out to me just because it was like a big learning curve. I think the first time we took the bus out ever to like go get it weighed, and that just seeing this thing that had been sitting for years, just moving down the road like a kitchen and everything.
It was like a butterfly coming out of a chrysalis.
That was very magical. All right, this is our bathroom section of the bus. So it is separated by a wall. I know that some bus builds, it's not necessarily separated, but it's just a decision for privacy. We have the space. The bathroom is above the wheel well, so that's why it's up a little bit higher, but we do have some secret spaces for like toilet paper extra underneath, paper towels, so that conveniently worked out for extra space. There's a pocket door, so you can put yourself in there. It is very quiet in there, so sometimes you go in there and just have a moment to yourself, do your makeup, wash your face, just have a moment of privacy and quiet. We have a Nature's Head toilet. We like it. I mean, we got a long time ago. I know a lot of times people, like now they have different, either make their own or have made different choices, but we find it easy to use, clean, maintain. We have a small sink. We got, at the same place we got the slab, so refurbished place in Seattle, or a resale place. And it fits perfect in that area. And then just extra storage in the mirror. And then this is the shower. We did the tiling. The tiling came in sheets, so it was easy to kind of, there are some like curves from how we did the wood framing in it. And everyone asked about the shower, and I think they are afraid it's gonna just crumble apart going down the road. We've had this shower since probably 2018 or so, and like not a single thing has fallen off. So if you're feeling worried about showers, don't be. And here's a fan, so it pushes open. And then we have like shampoo, conditioner, shower gel, some extra things. So I mean, it is nice to have a shower. We don't shower every day. I feel like it uses about 10% of the water, 5 or 10%. So just depending on how long you're deciding to camp out, you kind of have to decide how long your shower is going to be, or how long between the days you shower. So we kind of use our bus for like base camp. we go to like campgrounds with friends, or if we find a good like spot to camp, this is a place that's like, oh, we have a bathroom, we have an oven, we have fridge and freezer, we have like extra bed. You don't have to bring your tent and set it up in the middle of the night.
Yeah. We can put our motorcycle on the back and then use it as like, point-to-point system. Like we'll have the bus sit at one trailhead and then motorcycle to the other trailhead. So
yeah, and we're really excited to be here. The bus fair in Oak Ridge, it's beautiful. We came here the first year in 2019, and it was just a couple weeks off from like our bus build being done.
Yeah.
And so we've been looking forward to showcasing our bus. It's a little bit of a delay, but when the timing's right, it's right. So that's now. This is the like main bedroom of the bus. So we have our kind of storage cubbies, compartments. So generally, like I usually take about this much space for clothing, a few electronics maybe, Isaac same, and then towels, maybe like easy access backpacks, whatnot. Our bed is a queen size. We got one of those like beds in a box, so it was easy to just unroll it, open it up, it inflated. Modern day mechanics of things is amazing. If you see in the back is our sticker collection. That is other people that are traveling in either buses or other rigs. I get RVs, vans, whatnot. So if you have a sticker to trade, reach out to us, and I'm very happy to do a sticker trade with you. We have a secondary propane heater back here. We do have, it's not technically a door, it's more like a second shower curtain is our like bedroom door. But if we close the curtain, the propane heater really does like heat up the back space. And we have extra storage, a little nightstand with a drawer that pulls out, and usually keep like a hamper back here. And underneath is storage. We don't have fancy like drawers or anything. It's mostly just bins. If we bring our paddle boards, it's usually where we put them. Chairs, camping chairs, extra tools. Like usually we travel with like a chainsaw if we're like out somewhere and like a tree falls down. We want to be able to like get the bus out, or sometimes there's like too many branches in like a spot we're staying. And the bed does raise to about the ceiling, and this was a design that my husband came up with. It's a pulley system and a crank. So we had looked at a bunch of elevator raises, and we kind of both decided for cost cuts and everything, and yeah, that we could just do it manually. It wouldn't be a drain on the battery. So it is a little squeaky. That's about it for the bathroom, or the bedroom. We do have a smoke detector back here, a fan, and we can open up the door to the back. That can be fun when you're camping and you have the ocean or whatever in the background. Your beautiful way to look outside and see where you're waking up. A lot of times we end up parking in the dark on a long drive, so it's nice to like wake up and look out the window. And before we are done with this portion, I guess I do want to mention something that I find unique about our build is where the emergency door is on the bus. We welded custom stairs, and I don't think I've seen another build that has this. If it exists, cool, good on you. But it's nice either direction we park, we can come in the bus easily. And it's a closer access to our bedroom, to the outside. There's a little bit more extra storage for shoes, easy grab stuff like sunscreen. We have our hangers near the door too, so we can grab a coat or a hat and go out the door. So yeah, that's the other nice part about the back end of the bus.
The longest stay that we had in the bus was when we quarantined during COVID. That was 3 months, and then that also informed a lot of the changes that you see, such as getting shore power, so that we could be a bit more comfortable with our power usage. And
made a lot more changes. It's like the more time you spend on the bus, the more you're gonna fix things, change things, like adjust it to your needs. Or
Yeah.
or things are going to annoy you. So you're gonna,
It's never done.
It's like, you'd say it took us 4 years, but really it's an 8-year thing going. So
our bus came from North Dakota, which is a cold climate, and so we have a feature that apparently is kind of rare, which are traction sanders. In here we have a little can that you fill up with sand, and in the front there's a little switch that dumps sand right in front of the rear tires in case you're ever losing traction. If you leave it on, it'll create a little pile of sand right in front, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, that's traction sanders. And then we also have a supplemental solar plug here, which, as you can see, we've got panels on display to just kind of grab some more energy if we can. This is our 30 amp shore plug that plugs into an inverter charger that's inside and allows us to use all the power we want from the city. And lastly, this is our tankless hot water heater. It's kind of old school, so it's kind of big, but it runs off of propane and gives us all the hot water we want. This is where we fill our water tanks, and we have 75 gallons of fresh water and gray water. And then finally we have our outdoor shower that we don't use too much. We do use it mostly for dog baths and toddler baths. But yeah, hot and cold. It's nice to be out in nature and use that shower. And that's our Skoolie.
So you can find us on the socials at DIY Skoolie, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So a lot of informational videos on YouTube if you're looking for that sort of thing.
There's also DIYskoolie.com, which is expands upon all the videos and various bus building projects that I've done.
And this is, message us on Instagram or wherever else we should, and we'll send you a sticker if that interests you.
Yeah. Ironically, I'm also a real estate agent, so you can reach out to me as Isaac Ravel, RE, or just search for me. I'm sure that if you find the bus, you'll be able to find me. But if you're up in Seattle and you want to buy a home, if you're sick of bus life, then give me a call.
Thank you, Tiny Home Tours, for checking out our bus. I hope to see you on the road someday.
Yeah, see you out there.